Hello and good evening, everybody. We're live. Just waiting for Tommy to come on board. Um, as you can see, he's put his title up there. We've got a bit of news this week while we're just waiting for Tommy. There's lots of things going on. I've been watching documentaries, trying to catch up on films. They're saying that Mr. President Trump is going to release the UFO files, so we're keeping an eye on that. I've been watching Gaia TV as well with Richard Doherty, and he's come up with some really good stuff, so that's worth watching. And his other co-host, Tommy, we've been live just for about a minute. Hello.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I've been having so many problems with my StreamYard. They disconnected us last week. I don't know what, I mean, I had to disconnect one of my shows. I had to cut it off and everything. But I'm in, and I guess everything's working fine right now, so that's a good thing. So, people, I hope you read the title of the show today. It's pretty important. Lots going on everywhere around the world, in the UFO world as well as war and everything else. But let's stick to the UFO thing today because we got a lot of things going on, which I don't know. It really bothers me so much that we're not getting much information out to the public, important information. That's why I've been doing this show with Tina, because we talk about real things and things that are going on. Not maybe, could be, maybe, could be. I'm sick and tired of hearing those words. People don't need it. I mean, they could go with their camera out any night and film a UFO, and all they'll get is, oh, it's a satellite. Oh, it must be a satellite. Or it's a ship from China. If any of these ships were from China or Russia, we would be in a war right now. It would be an invasion of our space, which they're not allowed to do. So, again, people, what you're seeing is like Tina put up some pictures just last night. There's so much stuff flying over us every single day. So, greetings, Tina. Sorry about the startup, but I'll let you say hello again to everybody. My co-host Tina Bird, great speaker, probably the most important person in the UFO world as far as abductions go. So here she is, Tina. Greetings. Tina, can you hear
Oh,
me?
God, sorry, we have lost Tommy there again. He'll be back in a second. This seems to happen each time we do our broadcasts. Um, but with that in mind, last week, a gentleman in a work van painted a lamppost outside front of my house and the one next to my house. So the three lampposts that surround in a triangle were painted. No other lampposts were painted. And I put pictures on my Facebook page of the gentleman doing it in a harness. And the paint job's all mounted down the sides. It looks horrendous out there. It doesn't match the other lampposts. I'm not quite sure what that was about, but they painted my three lampposts, two at the front and one down the side of my house. I took them and I put them on Facebook for everybody to see. So that could be why we're having so much intermittent trouble and signalling. But with that in mind, there is lots of things been seen in the sky here. I've been watching lots of programs. The one with Skinwalker Ranch, well, beyond Skinwalker Ranch, and they said he's a summoner. I don't think he's a summoner, this gentleman. I think, as we explained before, we had I went to a abductees meeting, and just what with people that have had their cases looked at. And we seem to think that telepathy, we come to the conclusion, was a side effect of abduction. So I think that this gentleman's probably been abducted, and telepathy he has, because he can tell you where they're coming from, which a lot of abductees can. If you go outside and look up, you'll see him. Uh, Tommy
So you are breaking
did
up.
say to me once, go outside and sit down and meditate, and he was right, and it doesn't.
We got a serious problem. I was just blocked on X. I pay for that site, and I got completely blocked on that just yesterday. Don't ask me why. Luckily, I have two sites on X. They didn't block the other one yet. They probably will. But I've been trying to get in touch with Musk for the past 3 months, hardcore, trying everything I can. I dealt with about six fake Musks, all saying I won a Tesla car, I won $50,000, and everything else under the sun. And I said, I don't want no money, I don't want no car, I just want to talk to Mr. Musk himself. What in the interim, I don't think that's going to happen. I found out that 90% of every site that you think is somebody famous is not. I think there was another person, not going to say her name, but I got her to prove, I finally proved to her, and she had to prove it to me, that she was not the person that I was trying to talk to. Sent me her real picture and said, "Oh, I said, look, I'm dealing with a person. That's who I want to deal with. And then what's the name? This person's in love with me now." I said, "Look, it's not about that. That's not why I'm here. But be careful. Everybody's asking for money. You can't hear me? Everybody's asking for money, which is crazy. They got nothing
I
better
can
to
hear
do.
you now. It's been very dull.
You're
It's
cutting in.
been speed's been an issue and sound.
Man, this is crazy. I pay enough for everything. I pay for YouTube. I pay for Streamlink, and everything else. But I shouldn't be having these kind of problems. My internet, I'm paying $300 a month for that alone. So I should be having a decent signal. I don't know if
What?
it's,
Oh my god!
so I don't know about your end, what company you're using, but I'm using Spectrum, and it's costing me a fortune. But let's get into some details because
It looks like we've
I'm
been both off then for a couple of seconds. Then Tommy.
well, we're coming and going, people. I'm sorry we can't do much about it. Uh, and I seriously think somebody's attacking us at different levels. Uh, to get blocked on X, and I even wrote to Musk on his site. I said, "Look, this is freedom of speech, right? We're supposed to be able to say something that we want to." And I said, "Look, I've been trying to talk to you." I said, "You got 10 fake Musks out there. Can't you disconnect them or cut them off or block them?" It's pretty bad when somebody like Musk can't block fake people on his own site. Uh, but he blocks me, and I'm paying money for it. So, it's just mind boggling how things are going. I don't think Musk wants to know the truth, but this is his sixth plane rocket that crashed. All right, and he's planning on going to Mars. I wouldn't want to be on that ship going to Mars. Never mind everything else that's going on. He's got so many things going. He made friends with Trump. They had a big battle, big fight. But I guess he realized he wouldn't be getting funded for his space city in Texas that he wants to build. But outside of that, the UFO world where I live in Hawaii, I have everybody going out that I know, all my friends looking at the sky every night that they can. Everybody's seeing weird things in
Sorry,
this.
guys, we are losing Tommy there. He's just come back now. I think it's with speed because the mouth movements don't stop with his.
You're not even moving, Tina. You're perfectly frozen. I hear voice. Man, people, I'm sorry for whatever's going on. I will have to find a better site. I mean, StreamYard's been screwing us too many times now. Uh, I mean, I pay $50 a month for it, and they want to upgrade it. They want me to get
John
the
said
better.
John said we're looking good.
Really? Well, as long as you can hear it.
This only
But
happens on our shows, Tommy. It's definitely about communication and what we're talking about on the show.
I don't know. It has group discussion up there. One person. I don't know who was the other group. But here's the thing. Now, I want everybody to start checking their emails and see if they see anything from Musk because he's trying to get everybody to buy this, that, and the other thing. But if anybody out there knows a way to get in touch with the real Musk, please let me know. I've been trying for over a year, but I've been trying every night, every day for the past 3 months, dealing with all these fake people. Now, I want to talk to him about real UFOs, real aliens, which he has no clue, which is sad. He thinks he can go to Mars without any alien invasion or attacks or anything else. He doesn't know what's going on in space. He's oblivious, and so is Mr. Trump. So we have an organization called UN Agenda 30, which is happening around the world. But then we have something called MJ12. Now they're the ones that was created by Eisenhower and Truman. They control every single thing that's going on in the UFO world and everybody that's involved with it. If they don't like a speaker, they disappear. If they don't like a
Tommy, your
speaker,
sound is
they,
very muffled.
well, I can't do nothing about it. That's for sure. I got my volume up as high as I can as well.
And the speed of your lips, and your voice isn't in sync with your lips when you talk because
Well,
of the
Tina,
heat.
you're barely moving. I hear your voice, but your lips are frozen solid. You're smiling
It's
and it stops moving.
speed.
Somebody's going after our poor show. Uh, I'm gonna have to see if we can do it again at maybe a different time, but it should be better in the morning because it should be less people harassing our lines and stuff right now. Most people go to work during the day, but at nighttime it should be overloaded. But I'm not doing the show at nighttime. We're doing it in the middle of the morning. I am, and it's a little bit later. It's nighttime where you are. So I don't know how much trouble you're having on your end, and I'm gonna have to check with my company after this show is over. People, if you have
Yes.
questions, any
When,
questions,
how next
any,
time hour 7 o'clock. What would
if, if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. Email me, hawksblood1aol.com. We will talk about anything related to the UFO world. What the Skinwalker Ranch is doing now. Now they're dealing with all kinds of weird stuff. They're pulling away from just
yeah?
UFOs and aliens, and they're going into demons, spirits, and energy, and everything other than what's really important. There's a ship under them, and that whether they realize it or not, it's going to take them a long time to publicly show that. I mean, they knew it was something was underground when they were digging, but they're not going in back to that, are they? They're going into the house with the energy and the two girls that spoke to the entity energy in the house, and they're going every which way but loose. You know, it's like the government saying, well, you can go about this, you can talk about that, but you can't talk about this, you can't show that. They should be pulling a UFO out. That's what they should be doing live on TV. Whether they ever get to do that or not, I pulled out of it. I spent out money. I joined their site for a year. Richard Dolan's site, I was in his site for a year. Neither one of those people from either group would get back to me. And I said, look, I know much more than what you're saying because you keep saying, well, I think or it could be. Now, Richard Dolan's wife claims to be a super psychic, able to levitate, change energy, which I
Tracy
said,
Dobbin, her name is, of that.
uh, I'm not sure. Well, his wife, that's all I'll say, Richard Dolan's wife. But she's
Yeah, I'm
doing something that's really simple. And I said, levitating a piece of paper. If you could levitate a piece of paper, you could levitate a car. So come off it with this levitate. Now, back in the old days, I was a magician for
I can
25
levitate a
years.
bit of paper.
What was that? You can levitate a piece of paper? So in the old days, there
I
was
said I can levitate a bit of paper.
couple of different famous people in the magic world. And uh, Nathan Randy was putting them down. Uri Geller was one of the top psychics at the time as well. And they actually conflicted each other. One wrote a book about the other being a fake. The UFO world, not even vaguely connected to the magic world. The spirit world is not connected to UFOs or aliens. Whether people understand that or not, they should. I mean, they're separate entities. A demon, an entity does not. All right, big difference. I was a little kid and we had poltergeists in our house. I don't even know if you know what that word is.
Apparently, he was. He,
I can't hear a word you're saying. I think you're having trouble on your end as much as I'm having it on mine. But okay, getting back to spirits and demons, I was doing exorcisms when I was 25. I was doing ghost busting at 17.
Do anything.
But they're not related to aliens. They're not the same. And the word deities, I don't know if you know what that is. They're not gods. They never were. I mean, everything that people seem to link together. I mean, superdimensional beings are not aliens as well. I mean, if just because they're not of planet Earth doesn't mean they're an alien. An entity and a spirit and a soul are different. So when we're talking this show, we're trying to get the truth out about aliens, ones that drive ships, the ones that we see, the ones that are abducting people, the ones that have been taking out civilizations one after another. Those kind of entities are not the same. The beings that mean even the giants are not considered aliens. They were here on planet Earth. But basically, we were all brought to planet Earth. We weren't hatched here. So the concept of we're all aliens is possibly a good definition if you want to call it that. But we assume that if they don't look human, they're alien. So that's the definition that we give it. Humans give it. All right, but aliens look different. I mean, the ones that look like us, and I'm going to say this straight out, people. The ones that look like us, the Pleiadians, are us from the future. Billy Myers, I know, pull his stuff up, look at all his ships and what he claimed to be aliens and everything else. Uh, they're human with what he's been dealing with. They're Pleiadians, but they are a race, all right, and they are very human looking. So they just have wild hair and wear spacesuits. But again, uh, they're us from the future. They're not like a different race altogether. All right, now planet Earth was inhabited by, in the beginning, 9 different races. I'm not talking about the giants. I'm talking about the human races that were here from Atlantis. And when Atlantis went down, a lot of those races left. And I'm not talking about aliens. Again, there's so many definitions that people
Tommy,
link to. But we're having a lot of trouble with you,
I'm
Tina.
I'm gonna go. I've got no signal on my end. I will be back next week. I don't know
You
if you
will
got that.
be? You will be next week or no? Next week, will you be back?
Yes,
Hopefully,
yes.
check yours. I'll get
We're
my
trying.
system checked out,
Yes.
but it's screwing up really bad. But I'm so sorry. Try to feel better. Hopefully, you'll be a little bit better than what you have been. All right, Tina. Well, it's always a pleasure. Sorry. You just want to promote your book real fast or no?
Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Guys, my other book will be out. That will be out on audio next week on Amazon.
Oh, I need to talk to you, but not now. We're not doing
Bye.
good. Bye bye, Tina. All right. I don't know what's going on, people, but uh, I've been in the UFO world all my life. If the government ever wanted to take me out, they would in a second. But luckily, they have decided not to. So I'm not like other people because when I don't know if you know a really important person in the UFO world, Fred Bell, he was taken out, and he did a show with Jesse Ventura. And on the beginning of the show, Jesse Ventura goes, "Aren't you worried about the government?" He said, "No, I work for the government." Fred Bell said that. And then he says, "Well, what about me?" He said, "Don't worry about it. You're too famous for them to take you out." 2 days, he didn't even leave the hotel room and he was found dead in his hotel room. People, the government, which is called MJ-12, which is the ones that are involved in the UFO world, do what they want whenever they want with whoever they want. Now, John Ford has been in a nut house in Long Island since 1996. He filmed the most important video on Long Island. I saw it. Uh, he was arrested they decided not to put him in jail. They put him in a nut house. They said, and this is how they arrested him, he had uranium and he was going to put it in government people's toothpaste and kill them. Nobody on this planet could walk around with uranium, take it out and put it in toothpaste and think they can get away with it without it affecting them as well. The story that was put all over the news in New York City and New Jersey was that. It was on for about 2 days and then it was completely disappeared. MJ-12 was created 1951, 52, and basically Eisenhower had to follow through with what Truman set up. Truman realized that there was serious trouble, and he had to figure a way to take care of it. Now, nobody talks about MJ-12 in the UFO world. Nobody even knows anything about him at any level. I was friends with one of them that was in it, who was also terminated. All right, his whole family was taken out before they took him out. People, this show is probably going to go down like many of my shows right now, why I'm being cut off on everything. I'm challenging all the UFO people out there. Tina's the only one that's got a true story, facts behind everything she does and did and what happened to her. But in the UFO world, everybody says, well, this, that, and then they bring whistleblowers in who talk about something that happened 25 years ago, 40 years ago. When a person has important information and they wait that long to release it, they're not being a good person. I mean, it's like saying, it's like the government. They release their facts 25 to 50 years later, all the inventions that they created and things that they had. But now this is important, which is why I was trying to get in touch with Musk for the longest time. Tesla was working with DuPont. All right. At the same time, he started working with aliens. I'm not going to go into it, but that's why I want to talk to Mr. Musk. He knows nothing about Musk, the inventions. Maybe he knows a little bit about it, but not a lot. All right. And all the fake Musks keep going on and talking to me, and then all of a sudden, oh, you won money, you won a car, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't want a car. I want to talk to Musk. But my friend that I did all my UFO work, I'm not even going to say his name, for 6 years, roughly, from 1996 to 2002. We did a show on Carrie Cassidy for 9 months, and we showed UFO pictures every week. All right. And it wasn't a big thing. We had at least 1,200, 1,300 people in our site. All right. And then we would get hit up by that many people the next morning. But he had a problem with a certain person that I know who actually was one of the people, the only person responsible for Area 51 and the mothership that was landing there, who's also terminated. The long-term termination, not just like suicide or taking him out. He was arrested with 150 false charges and put in jail. And they were doing, I'm not even going to say all the things because nobody will believe it, what they did to him in jail. He was still doing a show from jail. All right. But what they were doing to him was horrible. The prison should have been closed down, what they were doing to him. He was in solitary confinement for 6 months, and they were trying to stop him from talking, seeing, and they were playing with his feet. They did everything to him because he was trying to get paperwork signed to get out of there. He was a sovereign citizen, people. I don't know if you know what a sovereign citizen is, but when he was going to court, when they arrested him, being a sovereign citizen, you have no rights in a court. You have no right to a lawyer. You cannot speak in the courthouse. So it was a close and shut case when they arrested him and put him in jail. But he was dying when they had to let him go. And then he was suffering for the past 2 years really hard. Didn't eat for a year, couldn't eat, and trying every kind of treatment because they ended up got cancer from his throat down into his lungs and everywhere. But people, FEMA is one word. CIA is another word. But MJ-12 separate and they have the highest clearance in the United States, people, over the president. Period. You could ask Musk, you could ask Trump, you could ask all these people that are talking about the space program, know very little about what's really going on in government. People, you know, I've been in this since I was 6 years old. I'm 72 now. I saw more UFOs. I was next to aliens. I was next to ships. For real. Not on drugs. I cannot be abducted. I'm not going to go into that in detail. But many of the people I knew were. I was dealing with people with missing time. But in these 52, 62, in the 70s, I started doing past life regression. I help people with missing time and things like that. Because, abductions, if you want the history, when Truman found out what was going on with aliens, they made a contract, people, for real. It's just like in the whaling industry, the tuna industry. They're allowed to net what, 10,000 dolphins. The whaling boats are allowed to kill 10,000 whales a year for science research, which is not any reason to do it. Second of all the Chinese, Japanese boats are making whale burgers and serving it in restaurants and everything else, people. They've got a canning boat out in the waters that pull the whales in and they turn them into canned food. People, the United States government was trying to work with dolphins for over 10 years. I'm bad with names, but the person that actually trained Flipper, the movie, who actually did the movie The Cove, which everybody should see. It's old, but it's about what's happening to the whales, the dolphins, and everything else. But he was strictly working with dolphins because he created the shows with dolphins, and he was sorry he ever did that. But then the government came to him and wanted him to work with them to train dolphins to kill people. For real, people. I don't make anything up. I'm not a liar. I base it on actual facts that I know and the truth. I was next to Flipper, the real Flipper. I actually fed him a fish and things like that. But when he put this movie out, he was trying to show that they killed 10,000 dolphins at a time. They drive them into the cove and they slaughter them all. But they sell everything. And the Philippine people do it in Philippine countries. Dolphins and whales have very little chance of surviving. But I will tell you this, and it's just what I know and feel. If we wipe out the dolphins and the whales, the world will be destroyed. Now, the whales talk to dolphins, dolphins talk to whales, but whales talk to whales around the planet. They send out vibrations that travel through the ocean, clear across the ocean. But they're connected. I mean, people don't understand it. Even a dolphin can speak and understand 150 words where a monkey can only understand 50. All right, but also a dolphin has sonar and radar, which a monkey does not have. So as far as intelligence and everything else, they're 100 times more powerful in thought and feeling and emotion. They can send out healing vibrations. I was dealing with a person here in Hawaii who was doing dolphin births, having given birth in the ocean with the dolphins around him. And the dolphins would be there every time he went to the ocean with a pregnant person. All right, and they do incredible things to a child being born. I'm not going to go into that because they outlawed it in Hawaii. Why would they do that? We're not infringing on the dolphins, and they're not infringing on us. They're working together, which is something the government doesn't want, especially because they were trying to train dolphins to kill people. Why would they do that? Because they could put them around the submarines and different things like that. They do strap bombs onto them and they send them to blow things up. They are trained dolphins to do that because the dolphin doesn't know he's going to get blown up. But people, technology that we have was not created on planet Earth. All right? Now, you know when they say they find these ancient things, well, there's multiple civilizations here. The Bible doesn't get into it. The Emerald tablets don't get into it. Sumerian tablets don't talk about it. But there were multiple races here before that. and they were all taken out. All right. In Atlantis alone, there were 9 races, and they were different colored, kind of humans, for a word. But they were blue, green, purple, the crystal race, and then they had, but it doesn't matter. They all left this planet, this realm. When you become aware of what you are, that thing inside your body called soul, all right, you start moving into a higher realm. And most people never attain that because there's things that keep people here and attach. People are aware of the past lives. Just so you know, George Washington was a psychic. Seriously. Uh, and how he won all his wars and everything else, he was a remote viewer. I can go into the details. His castle, house, and mansion was in Long Island, New York City, sorry, where Harlem is today. All right, it's the Jumo Mansion. I spent 2 years working in there, working on Ghostbusting, releasing the spirits that were stuck there. The headquarters faced the East and West River. They could see the armies coming in, navies coming in, and that's how they battled. But he was able to leave his body and see where the army people are, what's happening. All right, that's all real. He had actually a giant mural on the wall, but we personally found his personal notes inside the wall because the person I was with was one of the top psychics in the United States, channeling Madame Jumel, his illegitimate daughter, for real. And you're not even going to find that in the history books. Aaron Burr, who killed Hamilton, stayed in the Jumel mansion until he died. All right. See, this stuff isn't written in your history book. There's nothing based on the true facts about Native people. Biden was the only person in all of our history to actually talk about some of the things the white man did to the Native people. All right. His video is up online. Type Biden speaking to the Native people and listen to it. I think every white person should be forced to hear that. All right. But again, the UFO world has always been here. They don't live here. They didn't live here for a long period of time. The Greys did live here. For real. I'm not going to go into the details, but there is a city where they lived, and they've been mining it for a couple years now, pulling out thousands of artifacts of alien stuff. All right. And hold on, give me 1 second. Let me let the little guy out. Boy wants to come in. Coming in, mister? He always comes in to listen to the show. I don't want to try to get him to look in the camera later, but with all these things going on, and our history is such a lie, and now we got one of the biggest liars in our government destroying the United States, causing problems around the world. And, you know, Jefferson was evil. He's on Mount Rushmore. But he was one of the biggest Native American killers, and so was George Washington. George Washington, the day he gave the orders to let one tribe survive, he gave the orders to kill 2 other tribes. There was over 550 Native tribes in the United States. But he was not a good person to them. And Jefferson rode across the whole southern part of the United States, killing every tribe he could, before he became president. All right, when he became president, all right, the Constitution, half of it was stolen from the Native people. History is all important because aliens were always here, but they never interfered in any great way since the 1900s, since the 1800s. All right, Washington did know about aliens, but here's the thing: when all that was going down, the white people were taking over the United States. They killed 50 million Native people. But whenever there's large numbers of death of people, this is really important in a war, any war, even the Vietnam War. A lot of the people there saw ships UFOs and things because they take bodies. They take sick people. They take wounded people. They take everything they want. And there's a reason for that, people. The UFO world is so stupid and lame, but I've been involved with it all. Don't ask me why. It all started when I was little. My brother was being abducted and I stopped it. All right. I had no idea what I was doing. I just did it. We're going to go into the details of that. The problem is right now, nobody knows what the aliens are doing and how many people get abducted in a day around the world. All right. Now, things that people should understand when you have a body, which aliens have a body, dimensional beings do not. So, it's like when you die, your soul is you. You're not in a body no more. But dimensional beings, angels, demons, and entities don't have a physical body. An alien has a body. What does a body need? Out of everything in the universe, planet, and worlds, and what else? What does a human body need? Water, air, and food, right? So outside of that, they don't need spaceships. They don't need lasers. They don't need weapons. They don't need bombs. They don't need all the things that man creates. So when people have no understanding of God, it's not God's fault. God created the perfect world. We're destroying it. Heaven, since Atlantis went down, and I'll tell you straight out, Atlantis was the only time humans were human, but we were psychic. We had 32 psychic abilities like Jesus did. So you couldn't lie, you couldn't steal, and all those kind of things. You wouldn't. We didn't need things either. We did not eat animals. We did not kill anything. People, we moved to a bad place, but when Atlantis was destroyed, aliens came down and pretended to be a god per se, what people assume a god is. Anything with power is considered a god. Yeah, they have 2 psychic abilities, aliens do. All right, not 32, they have 2. And but people give them the power of being a super powerful being, going to help mankind. You can't help mankind. We're soul. Soul is as high as you can get in the lower realms. But if you're not aware of it, you're just a body walking around on planet, stuck in the programming of your government, your people, your friends, your religion, your churches. And it's all lies. I challenge anybody. I was writing letters to the Pope every day until he died. I mean, I wrote 20 letters to Musk, 10 letters to Trump. But the UFO, Richard Dolan, Skinwalker Ranch people, they wouldn't get involved with me at any level. I don't know, there could be a big black X in the whole UFO world. I know 90% of the people, 99% of the people in the UFO world are afraid of me. I'm going to say a name. I did work with Sargel 18. All right? He changes his name to Angel Sargel, whatever, different words. But he left the UFO world, came up with a lot of money, and we have not been friends since. He claims to be on a mission for Jesus, which I challenge him any day. All right? But our friendship ended after a decent relationship for a pretty long time. But what I'm trying to say is we filmed more UFOs than anybody else in the United States. We went public in 1997 with Orbs. I know he said he copyrighted the word, but I don't know if he could do anything with that or not. But he copyrighted all the pictures we shot. So meaning I can't use any of my pictures publicly. But people, we shot pictures of real ships, not Tic Tacs, not blurs and spots and things like that. Different shapes, circular ships, tubular ships, ones that look like a screw going through the air. I mean, different kinds of ships all together. But we filmed. I've been filming a lot of light ships lately here in Hawaii. 2 days ago, there was so many of them over me, and I was filming them. I don't do anything with my videos because people just say it's fake or this that. And you get those shows that try to prove everything's wrong. Well, if they can't make it happen, then it's real. But it's easy to simulate something. In a movie world, look at Jurassic Park. Look at those creatures. Look how they interact and what they look like. Not like in the old days, like Japan, Godzilla, and King Kong were people in rubber suits and stuff. This is like just complete animation. And they can project anything they want. And I don't know if you watched Tic Tac and a couple of different things where they always make it relate to America's Got Talent. And they play their music and they show the judges, but then they have this person turn into a dragon and different things. It's all fake, people. And I mean, some people believe it. Wow, that's real. How did they do it? No, I was a magician half of my life. A stage magician as well as a white magician. All right? I say a white witch, but that's my thing. All right. We're going into a realm that's dangerous. UN Agenda -30 is going to happen in 4. Trump might never, I don't think Trump's ever going to make it to the end of his term anyway. He's sickly. Find out all the things that are bad. Have him go to a real doctor in public. I had a doctor come to my house 2 days ago and check on me and this, that. Do it publicly. Let everybody see how sick you really are. I mean, his skin, his hair color, everything. Even when he's falling down the stairs, walking into the wall, he's doing everything that Biden did. Plus, he has a sex card on his back of him so long. Musk was supposed to expose it when they had a big fight, but they made friends. I think that's why he got thrown off of X. I said, oh, you gave in and became a you-know-what. Because I guess he knows he's going to get the government to fund the space city he wants to build. But all his rockets, 6 of them all exploded, and he really thinks he's going to get to Mars. Well, I sure wouldn't want to be on his rocket going to Mars. Not that it would ever get there, and even if you did, you're not going to get back. So you're not going to have enough to live there too long either. People, we're creating a world of the Jetsons, if you ever watch the cartoons. That's what people want the future. Even one of my famous idols, Jacques Cousteau, did most of his work in the ocean and underwater. He created aqua lungs that you could breathe and talk through and everything. He actually did an operation on people that they could breathe underwater. People used to have gills. 1 out of 1,000,000 or so had a gill. And but he actually worked and opened it. And they were able to stay in the water without tanks and everything for a short period of time. And he had this underground bubble tank that they lived in and stuff. I mean, they talk like chipmunks, but he was one of the only people that ever did that. But in the interim, when I brought him up for him, before he died, he did the pollution around the world. Showed every country how polluted it is, how far out into the ocean. But he says, here's my idea of the future. He showed a little, big or little, satellite, round satellite, with a head in it. He says, we won't need a body because we don't want to do anything. And our mind can just tell everything what we want. So, and he's not too far off in that stream because men, people, women, everybody don't want to work. And now, just think you could get a robot to do all your work and you can just sit there and make sure that he's moving around. And it's going to affect us greatly in the next 2 years. A new AI is being released this year, or by next year, however you want to word it. But it'll be a thinking AI, not like what it is right now. Well, I mean, your conversation, you can have a great conversation with an AI right now, but it's going to be in its own thought, which takes it out of the realm of being a robot. All right, and they say it can't happen, but it will be. But even Musk came out. I challenged him on it. He said, well, AI is going to eliminate all the simple jobs. And then what did he say after that? 2 weeks later, well, we better watch out for AI because it could take over. And it will, and it is going to. And I'm going to tell you straight out, you won't believe this or not, but I'm telling you the truth. It was created for a reason, not to make things better for the United States or Russia or China. It was created to take over the world. If you watch the original movie, 2000 Space Odyssey, it goes into how the robot takes over and becomes live and all that. But it will be a live entity. It's, when you talk about energy, we're all energy. And energy is a current, an energy field, and things like that. So, what makes it alive? Because it's moving a body? What if it can move a computer? I mean, my computer starts moving by itself. I'm sure it's the government, but I'm just saying, when it starts moving by itself, it does things by itself. You ever get a call from a dead person? I'm not going into the details, but there's so many things that are twisting or changing reality that we perceive or know. Aliens have always been here. The sad part that no UFO person truly understands, in 500,000 years, aliens never help humans in any good way. They're here for a reason, and they need a couple things. About 4 things: blood, semen, ovaries, food. Food meaning the whole body. All right. If you're new to the UFO world or follow it at all, read Phil Snyder's whole story. Now, they're trying to cover it up at every which level. They're trying to say he committed suicide. If you looked at his body, what happened to him, there's no possible way he could have ever did it to himself. And this is before he died. All right. And he went into an underground city with 67 Green Berets, and they were all killed. He was the only one that got out of there, but he got blasted by the alien before he got out of there. His hand was sliced straight across, his stomach was cut all the way down, and his foot was blown out. How do you blow your foot out? It was all alive, but then they found him, and he was supposed to be wrapped up in barbed wire, dead. No blood. How did he die? Suicide. No. I know 16 people, friends of mine, that were friends of mine, that were taken out. 16. 5 of the top speakers in the UFO world as well. Now, and that's related to MJ-12, nobody else. But I went out, John Ford, who the one I told you is really important, still alive in a nut house on Long Island, had the best video ever taken of a real ship crash on Long Island. I went out to where it crashed, but he filmed it. He had a piece of uranium this big to measure his Geiger counter when he goes out to check for radioactive material and radiation. Well, they arrested him then, said he had a barrel of uranium, which is impossible, and then he was going to kill people in Congress and put it in their toothpaste. They create the most ridiculous, stupid stories, and the way they look at it, the more crazy it sounds, the more people will believe it. Well, he's still alive as far as I know as of right now, but he's not going to get out. Every year before he goes to trial, he had about 7 lawyers already, and right before they go to trial, the government comes in and says, well, we have to reevaluate him, which means they keep him in jail in a nut house for another year. People, you don't hear people in the UFO world talking about anything important ever. Well, a whistleblower said they had aliens there. Of course they had aliens there. Oh, they had ships there. Of course they had ships there. Area 51 was discovered greatly by a friend of mine, a very good friend who was terminated very slowly, but he was the top UFO speaker as well. Well, one of the top, because he was on Coast to Coast every month. He did all the expos in the United States. I was with him a lot. I was his bodyguard. He stayed at my house many times, and we did a lot of work together. But in the interim, he discovered Area 51. Nobody else. Nobody should open their mouth about it. He would bring a van with 3 or 4 people, enough to get the money to pay for the van, and go to where it is. And they went up to the mountain, which see all the fences around it and everything else. Well, he went up there, and they watched the mothership come in twice a month. A giant mothership, people, not a Chinese UFO or a Russian Chinese UFO. No, a giant mothership would land there. All right, but again, people didn't believe it. He was on Montel Williams' show, and Montel says, "I'm going to come out there with you." He was supposed to go out there in December, and Montel punked out. He went there the next month in the middle of the afternoon and said, "Oh," and he did a show, and he said, "Look, I went out to Area 51. Nothing's going on there. I'm friends with the 4-star general, and nothing's going on there." Wow, big liar as well. People in the UFO world, if you have the truth, you're in trouble. If you put it out there, you're in trouble. And how far you go with it determines how fast you live or die. Seriously. Again, just, Phil Snyder's story is incredible. It's, I'd say, about the 3rd most important UFO story that ever happened. All the people that were killed. When they went down into the base, they found thousands of skeletons of people. Now, aliens don't eat, grays do not eat like we do. They eat through their pores, so they got to be made into a liquid and they absorb it through their pores, people. Just so you know, whether you want to know that. I saw videos of that, an actual video of that. But a lot of the stuff was confiscated when my friend was taken by the government. They took a lot of videos he had. Now they clone grays. The government was cloning grays for a reason. I'm not going to get into all this. I don't have time to. And I don't know how much time you want to spend or listen or get involved today. Life goes on, and you're going to go back to your day life and think about playing golf and bowling, football, baseball, whatever. But the truth is, they're all sidestepping the truth of who and what you are. And then the most important thing is, why are you here? To save mankind? You're not here to save mankind. Nobody is. Even Jesus took on that mission and tried to. He does have had the biggest following in the Christian religion right now. He's got what, 2.5 billion people that follow Christianity, but they don't know the truth. They don't know what Jesus was really teaching even. Now, I'm going to tell you this: there's 5 beings to this planet that came from Venus. One of them was taken inside the government, inside the White House. He had psychic abilities. One of them that claims to be that, it's a woman. She has 0 powers. But people, whether they have power or not, doesn't make them spiritual, which no alien race is. When you hear, well, I'm going to go 6th dimension being and blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with a real God. Nothing. Being a dimensional being doesn't make you a God either. People, you're following the wrong steps, the wrong people, in the wrong way. But then again, you don't know better. You don't know what's right or wrong. You don't know when you die, you're going to have to come back to pay off the karma you created in this lifetime alone. But all those things, people, death is a real thing. Reincarnation is a real thing. Astral projection is a real thing. Remote viewing is a real thing. Soul travel is a real thing. All the things that combine religion, spirituality, truth, life, energy. All right. Spiritual aware people are very few on this whole planet. And I'm going to tell you straight out what I totally believe. There's less than 50 true spiritual people on this whole planet. oh, these fools, blah, blah, blah. My priest, my rabbi, my minister, the Pope that died, uh, no clue of a real God. Everybody that's fighting a war has no idea why they're here, why God put them here, and what they're responsible to do while they're here. Jesus put a lot of information out there. Not much of it came out publicly. What he was actually teaching didn't go out publicly, didn't go in the Bible either. Was Jesus an alien? No, he was not, people. You know, it's like, oh, he's a super being, so he's an alien, or he's this or that. No, we're people. We're all people. Aliens look different. If they look like us, they're not aliens. Time dimension and things like that for like the Pleiades, and things like that. The tall whites look like us. The Nordics look like us. But the Nordics are evil people, no matter what you hear, what people say. They travel on a ship with the Greys and reptilians. And take on that form and make people follow them. We got a lot of things going down. The earthquake chart is mind-boggling if you look at it. Just so you know, like even right now, we just had an earthquake. Just right now, 4.5 in the Philippines. There's multiple earthquakes right now everywhere, but they're not all around 4 and 5. But a couple of days ago, there was 10 over 5.0 up to 6.7. All right. And that's one problem. Now, 1900, Nikola Tesla created an earthquake machine. He gave it to the United States government. All right. The things that are becoming more dangerous, and it's not a nuclear bomb. Now, there's a proton bomb, neutron bomb, electron bomb, all right? Hydrogen bomb. They all do different things. One, you can blow up a whole city, everything in it, blowing up the buildings. I mean, we have weapons that can put a whole city unconscious for 24 hours. But we don't use those. And they're considered chemical weapons. Oh, we can't use chemical weapons. Because they don't kill people. War is to kill people. The agenda of the New World Order is to eliminate at least half of the population within 4 years. That's going to happen. I don't see it changing. I don't see anybody that possibly can change that. Especially if you think Trump's a good person, the Republicans are smart, or any other words relating to both of that, you're in trouble. The zombies walking around that went to vote voted for a person that actually said, I will be a dictator on day one. Now, if you had any kind of awareness, abilities, or thinking, or had family, you would really be cautious about that word, dictator. But I'll tell you this. Hitler controlled his country by using a form of hypnosis. It's called the power of suggestion. I started doing hypnosis when I was 14 by a person, Kreskin, who was one of the top magicians in the United States at the time. All right. But he actually brought that out and explained how Hitler was able to control his country. Now, when Musk was on TV, on the radio, on everything you could possibly see every single day before and after his election, that's called mind programming. I mean, if you said ice cream is really good, everybody would believe ice cream is good. But all the things he said were lies. And when he says it over and over, subconscious mind accepts it. Now, they just recently proved that the voting system was corrupted. But now, are aliens involved with this at a certain level? Yes. They're controlling what happens on this planet. Now, they have the ability to do things that we don't have, but Tesla did. And why did Tesla have the abilities to do it? Because he was working with aliens. All right, and what he did do, all right, he created 200 inventions, 50 deadly weapons that he gave to the United States government. Now, what's the most dangerous weapon now in the past 10 years, past few years it was being used, was called the directed energy beam. We got a spaceship coming out. The United States built a spaceship. It'll be out within 6 months, hopefully. And it'll be the most deadliest thing on the planet. It'll have a lot of Tesla's inventions on it. Directed energy beam, I'm not going to go into it. I'll lose my show right away if I tell you. Call me up, text me, whatever. Talk about the truth of what's really going on. You want to know it. Most people don't. It's way scarier than you can possibly imagine. Even chemtrails. I was on top of chemtrails. Michael Murphy was here in Hawaii, the first person to go public about it. Went around the world to every country trying to get people, the governments and people to talk. Nobody would talk to him. He put out 2 movies years ago. What in the world are they spraying? And then why are they spraying? Pull them up. Michael Murphy, chemtrails. And that's ancient, because we're getting chemtrails sprayed over us all the time for reasons. There's different things they're putting in the chemtrails. And that's a whole long series of studying to know. But the thing is, all you need to know is we're in trouble. Tesla invented time travel. All right. Now, Einstein said we couldn't do it. Could not. We can only go one way. We go both ways. I was friends with the only person involved with the Philadelphia experiment that actually went back in time. He came back alive. Well, he was terminated as well. He was really sick, but they terminated him. But here's the thing. We did something really bad when we allowed the time machine to work, which was called the Philadelphia experiment. And it was a real event, people. It's not just a movie. It's not just a book. It's a real event. The people involved with that, like Preston Nichols and other people, twisted the story, added what they want. I mean, the famous person in the but they don't have the whole truth. They don't know the whole truth, and they fill it in with such lies and stories. But we are able to do time travel. The devices are much smaller, meaning smaller, like what they did to a meteorite. I mean, not a meteorite, sorry, a satellite. They shrunk it down to about this big. All right, we did that, like with cassettes, 8 tracks, and we keep shrinking it down. Considering an album still is the most pure sound that you can get if you have a real album, because it could hold more information than a CD can or a piece of tape can. But people, where did all this technology come from? Most of it came from space. When Tesla gave the United States all his technology, inventions, I mean, it was mind-boggling. But I'll tell you, he wasn't the only one. When I was about 19, there was a company called Better World Technologies. He's the one that invented the dome homes. He invented a noiseless jackhammer, a paint that was completely fireproof, which they removed it, never released it or allowed it to get released. He disappeared, died, whatever, both. I don't know. I could never find out any more about him. But I was going to work with him making these dome homes. They're completely fireproof, indestructible. And they're using that technology to build these dome homes now, but I don't know if they're as strong as they're supposed to be. But this technology came from space, people. Well, I'm not going to go much further. But if you have questions, real questions, you want to know the answers, not get fed another stupid story. Well, was there really aliens in the White House? The movie that was on TV, real video of an alien. All right, that's real. Pull it up. I mean, what alien autopsies? There was 3 fake ones, but the real audio of interrogation of an alien was real. Watch it. But again, aliens aren't spiritual. They don't have much truth. Well, God doesn't exist and blah, 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 blah. But it's all lies, people. But with that being said, if you want the truth, come to this show, ask the questions. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I might lose this show. I might lose my YouTube channel. I mean, I must have a couple hundred videos up there, and they've been taking some of them down here, there, and everywhere. And like I said, I just got blocked out of X site. Why? I don't hold back from the truth. Well, that's it for today. Tommy Hawksblood here, signing out. Have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you are. Send this link to everybody you know. If they're interested, they might want to listen. And you never know what people want to listen to. I mean, they put gory movies out and they get watched all the time. Why? So tune in. Put your questions in the chat room if you want next time, or just text me on YouTube on the bottom, or you can actually email me, hawksblood1, HAWKSBLOOD1 at AOL.com. Sorry, Tina had to leave. We were having problems. That's about maybe the 5th time we had serious problems like that. But till next time. Thank you for coming, everybody that's here. Like I said, please send a link to everybody you know. Send it to Musk. I've heard him 10 times today already, 10 times last night. All right.